Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Texas Wedding Podcast, where we connect with the people moving and shaping the wedding industry here in Texas. Very excited for this week. My good friend Devin Swick is not only on the podcast, but came all the way down here to Waco to join me in person. So it's the first in-person, in Waco podcast. I'm excited for it. Hopefully we get a chance to do more of these in the future. Devin and I first met a couple of years ago. Anyone who knows Devin knows she has just an incredible eye for design, for people, for making events that make sense. Devin's actually one of the first people who ever knew that I was contemplating a podcast like this. The idea of like a type B, we're not trying to fix each other. We're not leaving with a 10-point plan for how to increase A, B, and C in our business. And from the very beginning was immediately a big fan of it. So I hope you enjoy it. We talk a little bit about life. We talk about Devin's strategy for designing events, that it's not just a new trend, it's not just fashion forward, but like what is the story and how does this fit into the story of what you're doing and why you're doing it and who you are. We talk through whether the wedding industry at times is losing the plot for what we're all about. And we talked through an incredible guide that Devin recently put out into the world, The Freelancer's Guide to Professional Event Style, which she created as a favor to all of us in the industry. Too many people she's worked with have had the issue of setting expectations for how vendors present themselves. And so this is really a tool for people leading teams, for people who are assisting on teams to make sure that they're showing up and showing up well and meeting and exceeding expectations. So we get into that, who it's for, why she created all those things for y'all. If you know Devin, you already love Devin. If you don't know her yet, this is a great place to meet her. I know you're going to love this episode with Devin Swick.
I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it, you know I'm just a dude that you know, or something similar. If you don't keep it real, then you go somewhere but here, cause you know we're only losing control just for a minute.
You like my cow phone?
I love your cow phone.
It's like cool.
How often do you use those suction cups on the back of it?
Only like when the kids and I are out and about.
Yeah.
Cause like
Selfies with them.
Yeah, I just really enjoy like them.
Let's start personal.
Oh, great.
What's your biggest fear?
Oh my gosh.
We're not doing that. Don't say that.
Huh.
We'll start shallow. Do you have any pets?
I do.
What do you have?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I have Foreman. His name is Dr. Foreman. But he is an American Eskimo. He is almost 15.
What?
I know. And like the average age they're supposed to live is anywhere from 11 to 15. And so all of us have been preparing. Like my children,
Oh gosh.
I think we may have grieved a little prematurely because he did have some health issues and we were like, oh, no, we're still going.
Oh my
This is
gosh.
still happening. And so we did have a period of time where we were like, you know, if it is his time, like, and everyone's crying.
Yeah.
But then he's just a magical, never ending, and he's fluffy and white and adorable. Like he's a magical fantasy creature. So, but my kids, ever since that point, maybe like a year ago, maybe a little sooner than that, they've just been like, so when Foreman dies.
Oh my gosh. Y'all
So
have now
like,
been.
they are literally itching for another puppy so badly because I told them I'm not gonna have 2 dogs.
Yeah.
But now I'm quite ready for. We really want a puppy, but you know it's busy if we're wedding people.
It's busy.
So it's like it's hard to have a. When we got him, I was literally jobless and I just wanted a companion.
Yeah.
So he's seen me through a lot, but yeah, we just have 4 minutes.
Think of how different life was 15 years ago.
Yeah,
when you first got him.
I know. Oh my gosh. I literally had just gotten married and did not care about weddings at all. Didn't care about what I didn't have taste.
Same.
I didn't care literally at all. Wait,
Same.
how long have you been married?
We've been married 12 years.
Okay, gotcha.
And we got our dog 11 years ago. But
Yeah,
it's the same. She's in a similar life stage. If we like thought we were losing her
You're
a
like,
couple months ago, and we've now
Yeah.
been like prepping and like mourning the loss of our dog for like 6 months. But then she's like, one morning she wakes up and she's like hurting and creaking and like, you know, barely walking down the stairs. And the next morning she's like
A puppy.
bounding
Yeah.
outside and like so happy. And we just have no idea what to do with
I
her.
feel like some
So,
days I'm just like, I don't know how to treat you right now. Like,
Yeah.
you seem really okay. But then that night he like won't move for like 12 hours. And I'm
Yeah.
like, is this it?
Yeah.
This is
Relatable.
so dark. Like this topic.
Never did I think I'd ask about pets and we'd end up talking
And then
about
I'm
like the death of our pets like
they're almost
immediately.
dead, so.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah, I really want a golden retriever next.
Do
My
you?
kids keep asking about a sausage dog. They want a dachshund. I can't even say it. I'm like, I can't have a dog that I can't pronounce, but
Yeah.
I think it's dachshund.
Do-
Dachshund?
I think so. Dachshund.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
I
just
saw
gotta say it
down.
fast and then it feels like it's pronounced correctly.
Dachshund.
A dachshund.
Yeah, the H or no. I don't know how to pronounce it. But I do want a puppy and I want it to be adorable. And I have this fantasy that like maybe clients won't mind so much if I bring my little tiny adorable puppy on site.
The right ones wouldn't care at all.
If it's very
I
vocal,
have some who would
I'll
be
just
thrilled.
leave it there. Here's the thing. If it's very yappy and vocal,
Yeah.
congratulations, you're married and now you have a dog. Like, I'm just going to leave it at your wedding. I don't want it anymore.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
No.
First one?
Yeah, I'm very nervous. Can you tell I'm nervous?
I can tell you're nervous. I also feel nervous because we're doing it in person. And I've never done it in person.
I'm excited I'm your first in-person one.
And
I feel like I
keep
deserve it.
You
Because
do.
I told you to do this podcast. And it
You
was
pushed
like
for in
borderline
person.
my idea.
I
And
feel like
I know we probably can't mention the Amy Poehler thing because trademark Amy Poehler, but like we were like, let's follow the template of the Good Hang.
Yeah.
Where we're not trying to fix each other. This
Yeah.
is not a self-help.
Yeah.
How can we be a better
Yeah.
wedding industry person? It's literally just like, I just want to hang out.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
There just happens to be a camera there.
I've had this idea for a long time of doing something like this. And it's kind of like tweaked and refined, but we talked about it like
Pretty
over
early.
a year
It was a
ago.
long
Like
time
I'd
ago.
maybe mention it to my wife and like 2 other friends before
Yeah.
it came up when we were talking at lunch. So you've known about this longer than anybody's known about this.
Yeah, so I deserve the first in-person one.
Uh-huh. And I'm honored that your very first podcast is with me here.
Good.
Good. What would Amy Poehler talk about right now?
I did see one episode where she had, what's her name from Paramore, Haley?
Yes.
She had her on. It was really good.
Were you a Paramore person? I knew the answer to
Okay,
that before I said it.
Okay. I literally, if you took like Lindsay Lohan from Freaky Friday
Okay.
and yeah, Haley from Paramore, I literally wanted to be whoever that was. I still to this day, if I see someone skateboarding, I'm so devastated I never learned how to do it. Like, I love being on the back of a motorcycle. Like, I just love the whole like punk rock sort of vibe
Yeah.
of that era. Whatever we were doing in 2002, I was like, yeah, that's cool. My
my
first ever concert I went to was Avril Lavigne. Like, I am not joking. Like, this is, and my hair had like the most dramatic, like, emo swipe. I had like the scene, like the etnies, and like, I was just a real typical Fall Out Boy loving the almost obsessed.
Is this why we get along so well and why both of us?
Is this your origin story? Is you were also like,
I mean, I was like a screamo, Southern California, like
I
you'll
had
catch
to
me at
grow
like
into that, but like Devil Wears Prada, A Day to Remember, it was all like,
yeah, I'd be at like 3 Vans Warped tours like a year. Like I was in every
you
single
were
one.
so deep.
It was my whole personality. Yeah.
Okay. I remember this one t-shirt I had. It was like Flyleaf. And like my parents hated when I would go into Hot Topic.
Yeah.
But every time I'd be like, I really want that Flyleaf t-shirt. And I finally bought it. And I was like living in it. Like living. Constantly wore that thing. And then it was like back in the day. Now I don't. This is a fashion podcast now. It was back in the day when you wear like layers and layers of lace and like tank tops, and the girls would wear like these baggy jeans, but like with tons of layers and stuff. And I was like, oh, and my outfit's incomplete because my Flyleaf t-shirt is not on. So yeah, that was horrible.
On top of it all.
That was a great phase though.
It's our prime. Living in our prime. I had
Yeah.
one. This is probably like, I feel like Flyleaf was a cool band to like at the time. I had a
Probably.
Coheed and Cambria shirt. Did you ever listen to them? They were like
Yes!
the opposite end, like weird music, but
No.
like as
I felt
nerdy
like
as
they
you
were
could possibly
okay.
get out. Were
Well,
they?
it was weird because I feel like I swung from like a very like punk sort of vibe into like the screamo, but then I went really deep into like indie, sort of like Kurt Vonnegut inspired, like Wilco. Like I went
Yeah.
through a deep Wilco phase where I'm like, I don't even know what I'm listening to. And then I landed somewhere around like Me Without You. So I was actually, now that I think about it, like really into the music scene as a teenager, probably more than I really realized. But I grew up in like Seattle area. And so we had tons of great like show boxes, and you have Olympia right there that had a great scene. And like Tacoma obviously is like, it's crazy. It's crazy. So I don't think I knew how good I had it at the time. But the music scene there is really good.
There's this feeling that everyone in Seattle is like cooler than everyone else. Did Seattle feel that? Did you guys feel like, I live in Seattle, I'm really cool?
Well, okay, unfairly, I lived in like rural, like south of Seattle, but like anytime we did anything, it was like in like the Seattle area.
Yeah.
I think that by the time I got out of high school, and this is no shade to Seattle whatsoever, but I was like suburban, like Kirkland, Bellevue, East Side, like, you know, a little wealthier, nicer. But like Seattle is undoubtedly like such a melting pot of like artistry. So if I ever wanted to be cool, that was the place. If I ever wanted to like find a husband, I was like, I'm not gonna like go to Seattle. But I also wasn't a very progressive or independent thinker as a young person. But now I would much rather be in Seattle than more of like a more ritzy place generally.
The ritzy suburbs.
Yeah, that's like where I went to my private Christian university was like on the east side, and then now I'm like, if I could go back, it'd
be different.
I'd rather be in Seattle. Although like this is where the commentary ends because the crime there is really bad right now. But I think like generally speaking, Seattle is pretty sick. I actually I look forward to going back there now that I haven't lived there for a few years.
Yeah.
I think when you first leave the place where your parents kind of raised you, you're like, I don't know, because after a while you start to ask, like, I grew up here because my parents picked it, but if I could live anywhere, where would I live? And somehow I ended up in Dallas. But like, I think, I never would have picked Washington for myself. But now that I've been out of it for a few years, I'm kind of just like, I would love to go back. It's beautiful, and Mount Rainier's right there, and like the horses. And
beautiful. Yeah,
the world is crumbling, and I'm like, horses.
They have tall trees there too.
Yeah, they have such pretty trees.
My gosh. I feel the same way. I grew up like in California.
Actually, didn't know that. I just told you grew up in Waco. You didn't.
You didn't tell me I grew up in Waco.
Yeah,
I didn't grow up in Waco.
Haven't you always been here? And I don't know what you said, but I wasn't.
Oh, no. I've been here pre-Magnolia. didn't grow up here.
I see. That was
I grew up on the north side of LA, kind of how you described it. Not like in Los Angeles, but
it's like Thousand Oaks area.
Yeah. Almost exactly Thousand Oaks. How do you know Thousand Oaks?
I'm like deeply cultured.
Oh my gosh, apparently. And
no, I had like a really good friend that lived in that area. So
that's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
No, like really close to Thousand Oaks. The same as what you were saying of like the more of the ritzy suburb.
Is your family still there?
No.
Oh, I was wondering if, again, dark topic, but like the fires, if they were affected by.
No, a lot of my friends were.
Yeah.
I went to a really ritzy high school, and a lot of the people who went to it lived in the Pacific Palisades.
Gotcha.
So it was like, I grew up playing volleyball. My entire volleyball team was Pacific Palisades people, and like me,
beach
living
volleyball.
near Thousand Oaks. I didn't do as much. I did indoor.
Oh, okay.
Which was like, was it a thing in Seattle?
Not for guys.
That's not a thing for guys in Texas. Like my two boys.
No, I think we would play it for fun, but there was no organized sporting of men's volleyball.
Was
it like a unit?
Culturally so normal there.
Was it both genders on the team, or was it was just a boys volleyball team?
Just a boys volleyball. You don't say it like that. Just
Wait,
a boys.
What age?
Just a boys volleyball team.
A men's volleyball team? What were you, 11?
I started when I was like 5. Like it was just like another sport. You play football or basketball or volleyball.
You're probably professional. Are you nationally ranked as a volleyball player? If I had a nickel
Top
for every
10,
man I came across that was nationally ranked as a volleyball player.
A boys volleyball
I'd have
player.
one nickel.
I'm not. No, you're overestimating me. I did play volleyball growing up, and I forgot what I was saying about that. But my boys definitely will not be playing volleyball because it doesn't exist
Aw.
here.
Well, make it exist. Just start the team.
I'm busy. I'm too busy.
Do they have any inkling whatsoever to want to play it?
They're so young. They
Is
don't...
it like soccer in California? No, because lots of people play soccer over there. They just have the resources. They have the means and the people that want to play volleyball in California.
Yeah, it doesn't really replace anything.
Okay.
It's just another option.
I've just never heard of it wasn't even co-ed. It was just full-on boys volleyball. That's sweet.
Full-on
I like
boys.
it.
It was
It's
sweet.
cute.
I
You guys
loved it.
probably had really good outfits. Because I'm sorry. I'm just
No,
imagining
I'm laughing because
what the
we
girls
did. Because
wear.
we did.
Okay, do you have
Okay, the guys
built-in
do
shorts
not-
or something?
No, here's the thing. The
I'm
guys do not
nervous.
wear
The
like
girls
what
wear
girls
the
are wearing.
Spanx. Thank
Okay,
you.
I said it was like, okay, guys
That's the
were
first
not
thing
wearing
that
that.
popped in my mind, Kevin. Like when you said I was on a boys volleyball team.
My whole team was like people from the Pacific Palisades and me. And you mentioned sand volleyball. We literally
Sure.
wore board shorts as our like.
Yeah. See,
We'd
I
all
could
have
see
board
that.
shorts and then like a
This is
jersey.
like a beach volleyball outfit inside.
Kind of like that.
That's what we need. More sports for the men. This is what the world needs. I was wearing a fanny pack the other day,
Love it.
and a man had the audacity to be like, "Hey, I really like your fanny pack. It's a Claire V Grande fanny. It's a nice bag."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I'm so jealous that you women get to wear those bags." I was like, first of all, you guys get to do everything else. So I don't know what to tell you. I'm so thankful for my one bag that
Yeah.
you're jealous of. And also there's some really hot men that wear a bag.
Yeah, and also just wear the bag.
Just
if
wear
you
the
want
bag.
to wear the bag,
I know, I was
wear
like,
the bag.
do you want to borrow it? And also, can I introduce you to some of my guy friends? You
I'm like too deep in the wedding industry when I'm like, I can't even comprehend the thought that guys can't wear like a fanny pack or a crossbody. Like we live in a different world here in the wedding industry.
Stuck in time?
Yeah.
Like you can wear whatever you want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we live like in a town called Denton, which is like Baby Austin, they call it, which is like the guys have their nails painted and like it's very normal. Like we're just all very artsy up there.
Yeah.
And so I just thought it was so odd. I'm like, let me show you around. Let's explore some possibilities for you so you can feel more free as a man.
Oh my gosh.
In 2026.
Proud of you being here and showing the men of Texas that they can wear a fanny pack.
I don't want them to have
Preach it.
anything else, if I'm being honest, but I'll just show them the ways of the fanny pack. That's fine. I'll give them that.
When did you come from Seattle to Texas?
So I like lived in Washington from the moment I was born until 2023.
Okay.
And that fall I moved our family to Denton, and it was kind of really great because before that point there's like a really harsh distinction between like our lifestyles because it was very much like swapped roles between the parents in the house, and then like, you know, he was full-time and I was like stay-at-home mom but also working on the side and like kind of freelancing nonstop, but like homeschooling and homemaking and, you know, like constantly involved in our church. And then we came to Texas and our roles swapped and the kids started school and we were immersed in like this town culture. You know, before we lived in like a rural area, end of a gravel driveway, like very isolated. And now we're just plopped. We can walk 10 minutes to the town square and like our friends are just running up the steps every 2 seconds.
Sweet.
And like, it's just, you know, we were blessed with a really cool neighborhood that like the kids can just walk outside, grab their scooters and go down the street. And like, it's very safe and we just feel really lucky. So yeah, it's only been about almost 3 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah. We love it.
What, not talking weddings yet, but talking just in general, what's something you noticed that was like a big cultural difference between Seattle and Dallas when you got here?
There's
Dallas,
like,
Texas in general. Sorry, Texas in general.
There's a much greater emphasis on appearance in Texas. I think there's greater pride on how you present yourself in Texas. Like there's, which for me, this is probably a little too deep, but I was also raised with this sense of if you looked like you cared about your appearance, you were probably a little vain. And in Texas, if you look like you don't care about your appearance, you don't care about anyone around you, you don't care about anyone's comfort levels, like looking like you care about your appearance and the way you present yourself to people makes you credible and trustworthy and considerate.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that was something missing from my environment that I really didn't realize I wanted.
Yeah.
And it seems probably so materialistic, but as I've gotten older, I'm like, yeah, I'm not as ashamed to admit that that's important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is so silly.
I'm
Just
shocked to
was
hear that wasn't something you've just always like lived with and grown up with, because you are like,
kind of girly.
I was going to say very stylish
I
and
feel
fashion
like
forward.
that's a very new part of my life. I actually grew up with 5 brothers.
Okay.
And so I don't even know if this is PC to say tomboy. I was very like rode horses just bareback. And I remember a very deeply caring family member who meant very well when they said, "You're never going to get a boyfriend if you always just wear t-shirts and jeans." And like that was just me for the longest time. I didn't wear makeup until I was maybe 17. I think I was like in 11th grade, and all of my friends had at that point, and I was just really not girly. I cared about making art, and I cared about being creative and having fun, and like I grew up very poor, so it was also very like you couldn't be materialistic in that kind of environment that you're raised in, because what are you going to do? Like, so I do remember I started knitting when I was like 16, which is so old lady. I feel like I'm 74 most days. But the reason I did that the first time I picked up needles was because I was like, I kind of want to make something to wear for myself. Like I saw a sweater and I was like, I wonder if I could make that. And that kind of started this spiral of like, I bet I could just figure out how to do that myself.
Yeah.
But no, like as I got older and more embedded in like what my taste was, I didn't even really do, it probably goes deeper into like my own self-worth, but I didn't allow myself to have opinions or taste or care about what I liked until I was maybe 25, 26. Like I really didn't do a deep dive into what I truly thought until I was in my mid 20s probably.
Wow.
I was just so determined to like, I was very involved in my church. I was very determined to serve everyone around me. And I had my first kid when I was 22, 23. So like I just from a very early age was like everyone else. Like and so it was a very long time before I was like, what do I actually like? Like my wedding, I hired a great photographer.
Okay.
Shout out James Mose if he's still out there. If you look at like 2008, another shout out like Benj Heish, it was like peak PNW vibes when I got married. It was like the elopements were starting, like it was so deep evergreen lakeside, Rattlesnake Ridge, like we had all the best, like people started going to Iceland because like Benj, it was just like such a cool time to be that kind of photographer. So I hired James knowing that like, okay, we're probably not going to have a super stylish or trendy wedding or a very expensive one. I think on our wedding we spent like $9,000.
Okay, same.
And like 3 or 4 of that was a honeymoon. Like it was literally like so inexpensive. We were out by 5. Like it was just, it was like your typical girl is too young to drink sort of no dancing Christian wedding. So it was just very, yes. So now looking back, of course I would do it a million times different. But I also feel like I had to go through this growth process of like caring about what I thought as a person and like my own taste. And then, like fashion kind of came with that. But I think like weddings tend to hold hands with fashion and with architecture and with interiors, and all that stuff started to kind of zoom into focus a little bit more as I got more in touch with what I liked and what my taste was.
Yeah. Wow. Was there
Not.
something that happened around that point, when you were 25 that caused it? And if it's like, but I don't want to share that, that's okay too.
No, I'll share. I think it had a lot to do with the fact that I knew we were done having children. And again, I think I started to do some soul searching in regards to like they're going to be gone one day. You know, you have that typical conversation in your head. If you're a stay-at-home mom or a homemaker, like homeschool or whatever, you have a moment where you're like, what is my purpose beyond them, basically? And so I had never had like my own career up until that point. I had done, I led worship, and that's what I went to school for in college. But that didn't bring any cash in, and because we served a very small church, and then I was like a barista and I was a waitress, and all of that was very important for what I do now.
So
I think
Pacific Northwest.
Right. But like, I think everyone in the industry should do some sort of like service related, just like get treated like you are less than everyone else for a little bit, because it gives you this mentality of like, okay, I'm here to serve.
Yeah.
I digress. I think
That's
like
good.
At that point when I had my youngest on my lap at one point, and it was like 2 a.m. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, because this is my last one. And it wasn't a crisis. It was more like what do I even like doing? I was scrolling Instagram at like 2 a.m. and I just came across like a planner I really respected, and they were doing like a floral design demonstration. And I was like, I do that now. That's what I do. And I really did, as I started diving into the types of events and weddings that I liked, just a sense of like personality came along with that.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was kind of a scene kid. I knew what I liked. I liked this idea of like kind of quirky, kind of different, but like I like feminine still. And so all of that is like wrapped up in that. But essentially, like I just started telling people like, yeah, I do weddings, and like a liar.
This
like
is who I am now.
I was like, this is what I do now. And then that turned into staying up until 2 a.m. to figure out mechanics and how do I even make this floral arch, and like like we were talking about, like all of the times that I was like, why did I think I could even do this? But then you just do it. And so that was all kind of wrapped into like finding a sense of like, I don't know, who am I? That feels so cheesy, but at the same time, again, I thought I wasn't allowed to really have a huge personality. Like I think I kind of squashed down a lot of myself for a long time. So part of coming into the wedding industry was letting a lot of that out.
Can you tell me a little bit about the past couple of years, what that's looked like for you in the wedding industry?
Yeah. Really, so at the beginning, I started in floral design, and it kind of evolved into whatever I was offered to do. And it wasn't really out of desperation, in the sense of like, I know a lot of people who are just trying to make ends meet, and we're all kind of there in a sense, but like it wasn't like that. It was literally like I was so hungry to like know everything that I possibly could about events, because it very quickly became not just about floral, but more about like the design holistically.
Yeah.
And the past couple years, I've just been able to zero in more on the whole design. So it really, I went through this process of like, okay, now I understand, back end production, and how early can I put these flowers out before they die, and like timing and who else is involved, and like kind of I always call it like the back door into the wedding industry, because it wasn't like I just showed up one day and was like, I'm going to plan this event, and have no working knowledge of like all the other missing, like the moving parts in it.
Yeah.
So it was really nice to, after a few years of being in the wedding industry as floral and as event like freelance, and then into event production, I kind of got that foundation to be like, okay, I can step into lead planning like a little more confidently because I have this context. But then once I kind of felt like I mastered planning, I really missed the aesthetics. Like I became kind of a person that was really credible in the sense of timelines and transportation and logistics, and it's just all of the technical things that come with a wedding, but just felt myself really craving having a design voice. And that only goes so far, right? That's like a whole other thing that like all planners and designers wrestle with, this sort of, is it what the client wants, or is it our brand, or is it, there's this constant sort of tension of like, they're paying us to deliver a certain design, and it has to be what they want. And I think some people would argue that, but at the end of the day, like they're paying me to give them what they want. And so yeah, I think I just in the past couple years have really explored that area of, my last role was director of production and design, which sounds so fancy, but it's
Yeah,
a
it
lot
does.
of just like, I think it gives me a lot more credit than I probably deserve, but it's a lot of vendor coordination and rentals and what time can this be dropped and what color or shade of this velvet do we want, and like all of the like teeny tiny details that go into making up that story. But I think if I were to zero in on one part of what I've done so far, that would be my favorite, is just trying to make all those details come together that reflects the mood board, but not in a static way, just in a very like they would love it, but it also feels like kind of cool in the industry. Like we haven't seen it yet.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. That like, I mean, I said it before, but like cutting edge, fashion forward, like
Yeah.
the vibe you put out just on social media, like everyone
Mm-hmm.
can tell right away. Like those are things you bring to the table.
Well, that's so nice. I like was trying to commiserate with a friend the other day. I think it hit home because we were all just like, there is such a need for a mature decision-making bride. And the trouble right now is a lot of brides have good taste. A lot of couples have great taste.
Yeah.
But they can't make decisions.
Huh.
And I think what I've just found, especially in the past couple months, is just this idea of exploring storytelling and believing that in your heart and mind, like you can make this decision confidently because it fits within the story you're trying to tell.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because like people used to ask me like, oh, are you listening to a podcast right now? And I'm like, yeah, I listen to one and it's called Smartless because it's the best one. But it was like out of COVID, but the funny thing is they would always make fun of directors that they would have on the show for being storytellers.
Yeah.
And I thought that was so funny that like now the best job I could have right now that would like speak to probably the most skill and gifts that I have at the moment and the things I enjoy the most is just telling stories and like understanding why you want to gather your guests together. I get it. You're getting married and it's like a celebration, all of that. But like there's something here that wants to be told. And I get that that's very cheesy language, but like I would much rather have a meaningful presentation of who you are than like just a trendy, fashion forward kind of cliquey sort of wedding.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, I love that.
I'm tired of really young brides. That's my hot take. Maybe because I was one, right? Like
yeah, maybe because you were
I feel
20.
like yes, I was. I literally was. And like I don't no shade. Like no shade whatsoever. I just think that and I just said it, like as you get older, you get a more grounded idea of what you even like and who you are, and your frontal lobe develops, and like you literally just aren't able to make decisions as readily or as confidently until you're like a little bit more set in who you are. And there are some very self-assured 20 to 25-year-olds. I'm not even, I'm sure I have at least one child out of my 3 that's going to like lay down the law between 20 and 25. But like at this point, just looking at the many clients that I've had, a lot of the ones that are quite young have the hardest time just executing like some of the most basic decisions, just because they think like, oh, I just saw that, or I just, like they worry so much about what their friends are going to think when the invite comes, or like it's the kind of feeling of we've lost the plot a little bit.
Yeah.
Happens a lot more.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
On that tangent, on feeling like we've lost the plot. Pause for
I know.
Caffeine. Do you feel like there's anything that we want to tell the wedding industry? Maybe it's the hot take we talked about before. Should I re-say this and let's do the hot take?
I could barely touch on it because here's the thing. The hot take is that I don't know that we need to go to so many things. And here's the thing. Like, networking has literally changed my life in a way that could make me cry right now if I wasn't such a robot. Yes. But I think there's just this constant, a lot of us have a very lonely business. Yeah. And so we have this constant need for connection. Clients don't do it. Vendor meetings don't do it. Like we want to have this like commiseration about like where we're at in the industry, but also to be encouraged. And like I see all the value in it. But I do see a lot of people bouncing around to all these different things and like, are you going to this and are you going to that? And it becomes this sort of like, ooh, I am going to that. And like that gives me clout because I'm going to be with these people. Again, no shade. Like I think that there's certain things that level you up in so many ways. I don't even go to a ton of things, but I do feel that FOMO quite often where I'm like, even if I go to 2 to 3 networking things per year, I mean, that's like, it's so expensive. I feel bad saying it because like so valuable, so valuable.
Yeah.
I just feel like if I did it all the time, my kids would be homeless. Like there's no way.
I love that you say both sides of it though. Like there's such value in networking.
1,000%.
Like networking is so important.
Yeah.
But also there's like this buildup in the industry of like, if you're not at every one of these things, you're missing out. And like, think what could have happened for your business or where you would be if you'd said like yes to this, or you'd been in this room, or you'd done this thing, or you hadn't missed any of them. Like, then your business would be where you want it to be.
And this is such an ITC plug because that Austin one, like their very first one, I still have people that come up to me and they're just like, oh my gosh, I totally remember when you were at that one. And I'm like, they have longevity if they're done really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Love the networking events.
My mean hot take. I feel so mean.
Don't love the number. I don't even know how to wrap it up. I know what you're saying. Like, but you do. You love these events.
I would go,
and they're
that's
so
the
fun.
Problem
but
is
it's
I
almost
would
like
go to every single thing. I really would.
Yeah. It's almost like I don't know, there's something like culturally like within the wedding industry. If you don't go to all of them, you're wrong.
Feels
if
like...
you don't do, you're not doing enough. Like, speaking of no walls, I want to talk about the freelancer's guide that you did.
Yeah.
First, I want to hear like what inspired you to make this? Where did this idea come from?
Well, for the longest time, I really just wanted to have like, it was kind of selfish. I was like, I kind of want to catalog all my outfits. I know that sounds like a huge pain probably to a lot of people, but like I find that planners, it's a pain point for them to have to tell their freelancers or their on-site assistants, like, this is what's expected on site.
Yeah.
But there really is like this silent standard that no one really talks about.
Yeah.
And for years, you know, I kind of alluded to it. When I first came into the wedding industry, I don't know what's appropriate. And I was doing floral even. So I would dress up like a farmhand essentially and like show up. And like, I think there's a lot more grace for different types of vendors that are on site, different categories. But I
100%.
think that in the sense of when I started doing event planning and producing, there was a lot more pressure to be client facing and vendor facing. And there was no like standard for that. So I think just creating some sort of like manual for myself was the original idea. And this is like the stuff we do for funsies as planners. There were signs as a child that I would be a planner.
Oh my gosh.
And one of them was that I did not care about Monopoly, winning, having money, whatever. Did not care. But everything was so pretty. Like, I was in charge of, like, whenever we would play a board game, specifically Monopoly, I was like, hang on. The money has to be, like, beautifully laid out. And, like, all the cards were, like, I know there's people like this that, like, they're like, yeah, win or lose, whatever. But, like, my dog is, like, so cute. And, like, the aesthetics were so important to me, even as, like, a very kind of, like, tomboyish kid. I was just very much, like, it's so cute. Like, the money's all lined up. Anyways, where were we? The guide.
Yeah.
Essentially, I just wanted something that would be a resource for those who are like, you know, we always say that the industry is very sink or swim.
Yeah.
And so my thought was like, I want to make it easier for someone to swim because there were many embarrassing moments that I could have been spared probably. And it is that thing that like people, planners especially, like I've seen some horrible moments where like I've shown up. I could pretty much show up for any planner at this point pretty confidently and know like barring any sort of like it's in Mexico and the brief is bold colors and they've sent you a guide for that probably. But just your run of the mill, like it's at a country club or it's at a private estate, whatever it might be, there's like a typical dress code for that, I would say, depending on the level of formality, which the guide addresses.
Yeah. It's like there is an expectation.
Yeah. And
it's just important you know the expectation.
Exactly. And I think like there was one time I was working for this very, very, very well-known planner. And in the middle, it was like later in the day. It was freezing cold because it was December. And this girl did not bring a coat, but she brought like sort of like this cape, but it had, which, come on, we have capes.
Yeah, but
I have a beautiful
you
cape.
To say.
But like it could not work. It was like, I don't want to give too many details, but it was just not, it did not work with where we were in the setting. And this very well-known planner came up and just in front of everyone chewed this girl out.
Oh, God.
And made kind of a spectacle of like, this was not approved. You know better than this. Like it was a massive chewing out. And I just remember feeling like there is a standard that no one wants to discuss right now.
Yeah.
And it really takes people down a notch. Like girls who show up to photograph a wedding and their slit is way too high so they can't get on a ladder, or like girls who show up in like really hyper trendy like combat boots that planners will complain to me about, and I'm like, then why don't you have a guide in house that you send out with the production timeline? Or like, you know. And so that's something I would love to provide for more planners too, but I think that the beginning phase of this idea was just very much like, should just be a starting point. It's not like I've broken every one of these rules. Every single one, Kevin. Everything in that guide, I have done the opposite. But essentially, if you're going with just a very baseline wedding and what's appropriate for who's on site and just there to serve the client and the planner, like you're representing a brand. You're literally there to represent a company.
Yeah.
And if you want to be asked back again, then there's a way to present yourself.
Yeah.
That's like the whole point.
And I like that you said that. There's no shame to breaking these rules because all these have like, you've done it. You've made the mistakes.
Oh, absolutely.
You're still here, but learn from your mistakes.
There's so much to worry about with your job in the first place. And I think having some sort of reference guide is like one less thing for you to worry about.
Yeah.
I say in there, like, I've been to some pretty spectacular places and worn some really expensive clothing. But I also never attended a formal event until I worked one. And so I truly had no context going into it. And I think the problem is that people assume that if you work in an event, you know how they go. And like, it takes so many years of experience to feel comfortable. So I think just being comfortable in your own clothes is really important.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that this can help a lot with. I mean, the industry, especially like the level of events you're doing, the level of events I'm getting to do, it's people who operate at a different wealth level of society than like I grew up doing and I'm used to. And I find that people who are successful at this level, this high net worth level of events, aren't necessarily people who grew up that way, but they're people who can acclimate to it and like fit into the norm so that the people you're there serving are comfortable because they don't feel like the outsiders amongst the people working it. And this is like such a tangible way that you can help like the people you're serving be more comfortable, like help if you're a contractor working underneath someone, like help them look better by you following this guideline and acclimating to what the clients are expecting.
Like truly,
even if you didn't know it.
I never like wanted to come into, this was the hardest part, was like when you don't wear what's appropriate, you do stand out in kind of a bad way.
Yeah.
And as someone who like, this is another thing, I always thought I was fairly extroverted.
Yeah.
I'm not. I'm
I'm surprised to hear you say that.
So here's the thing. I read this book called Quiet.
Okay.
And I read it because my co-parent had brought up that our middle one, we've always known she's incredibly introverted and shy. And when she went from homeschooling to public school, she was quite excited, but tears of happiness on the first day because she was so scared because she
Yeah.
was so introverted. So we picked up these books to kind of like help guide her through introversion. And then, really early on, I realized I don't want to necessarily change her because I love this about her. She's so gentle and sensitive and she feels things so deeply and all of that. But I always laugh because I'm like, yeah, I used to be that way too. Like when I was a child, you could copy paste us and we were the same person. And I read this book and it changed me because it talks about how as you get older, if you are introverted, it's very common for kids to change their personalities so that they will, historically, society rewards kids that are more charismatic. Like
Yeah.
they get the job offer. They get like the extroversion is rewarded far more than introversion.
Yeah.
So now I treat her as like this little thing I need to protect, right? But as someone who's quite introverted, the same, I never wanted to come on site and steal any sort of spotlight or be the center of attention. I just wanted people to feel like I'm there to support. I'm there to be a helping hand. And I kind of just wanted to fade in the background. I think that's kind of why a lot of people become planners because they're like, I just want to set the scene.
Yeah.
But like, I think when we steal the attention with our outfits and stuff like that, it's just like, there's a time and place. That's the other thing is like, I can add all the caveats in the world about like, dressing for Engage is not dressing for events and dressing for your clients is not dressing for, like, it depends on location and like,
And you said is dressing for this client would be different than this client. Dressing for this
1,000%.
planner would
Yeah.
be different than this planner.
There's been
Still, it gives such big like, hey, here's the frame of reference to think through. Here's what a planner would want you to know that isn't ready to say it.
The other fun thing about this guide
Yeah.
is that I never intended for it to be collaborative. Like I never intended for anyone in the industry to be in it.
Yeah.
And that became the most fun part because I was really scared about copyright stuff. So I was like, in 24 hours, I could have a full guide with lookbooks and all kinds of things. But then if I put my name on that, it's got to be mine or I got to have usage rights or whatever. Like, even though it's free, I still was like, this is a lawsuit. Like, I'm going to get sued. So then I just was talking with a friend and they were like, so many people. Why don't you just ask them if they have any BTS of them? And that's kind of what showed me that, like, guys, if you don't have BTS of yourselves on site, you got like,
gotta get it.
need
Yeah.
it. But now I'm such a creep because I have like a stockpile of all my friends on my computer.
Just pictures of your friends.
I'm just ready to go. Yeah. But they really came in and it made it so much more fun to like kind of pick and choose like, oh, this is the perfect outfit for that. And like, it was just so cool. Like some of them are in the mountains, like shooting and wearing like formal black tie clothing. And it's just, I don't know, it was really, really fun to make too.
Yeah, which it's like, it'd be weird if it was just words, like having those visuals of like, hey, this level of formality, the different, like this level of formality, here's some examples of these people shooting it in these ways and wearing this. And I think
really
it colors
fun.
in the whole thing a lot.
Yeah.
What I like a lot is that it is helpful for freelancers. Like, hey, I'm going to work this event. I want to do a good job and look the part, so I'm going to read this guide. But it was Mike Villa who I first saw post of like, hey, I'm taking this
like
guide as the business
now.
owner and it's required reading. Like, oh, you want to work for me? First you read this, like then we'll go shoot this event together. And I'm like, it's helpful for everyone in that way, both for someone learning these expectations and for people who are helping teach these expectations. So
I think
it's
ultimately
huge.
I would really love to create like, this is a great like version 1, I would say.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at all the different types of events that people tend to do, like, the Western rehearsal during welcome party or whatever. And I'm like, guys, if you don't have time to, here's the thing. It always gets down to a week or two before an event and they're like, just wear all black. And I'm like, I know that's not what you want. I know you don't want me showing up in all black again.
Yeah.
Can you just give me 2 hours and tell me colors, tell me the style, and I will fit every single person here. Maybe it's an expense thing, but it's still better than like giving people no guidance and everyone being in all black. And most of the time, black sticks out. Like if you're going to a beautiful, like 4 Seasons all white wedding and then everyone's wearing all black. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop with the all black. Stop it. This guide is all black. It's literally like, because that's the norm in the industry is like everyone's expected to have like a black trouser, a black loafer, a black whatever, and it's or like a black team shirt. I kind of love those, but like for the most part, we don't want it. We don't want it.
Which
is how I feel.
We don't want it. I love the all black.
That's because you're
As
a videographer.
someone who doesn't, no. Here's what I think it is. I'm a creative person. Like, I'm not putting myself down when I say this. I have no interest in expressing myself creatively through what I wear. I don't. Okay. I'm not. I love the like all black. Let's wear a suit. Like, dude, and that's great. And I can I've learned when I go to engage, I do my best to follow the guy. Like, I'm trying. I try, but I love the if I had my dream, I'd Steve Jobs it. I will wear a black turtleneck and jeans every day.
Thing.
Closet full of it.
Have you seen Project Runway?
Like the show with 10 billion episodes?
What's the other Project Runway? What is the other?
Okay,
yes,
you said Project and that space movie that just came to mind.
I don't know what you're talking about because I'm a girl. I don't know about space movies.
But Ryan Gosling's in it. You have to know it. Not Ryan Gosling.
Okay, I have seen a preview for that, but I don't know what it's called. But okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
Michael Kors said that he every single day, every judgment, every time he's there, every time he exists, he has a black t-shirt, black blazer.
Yeah.
Every time. And he's like, I'm too busy to think about what I'm going to wear. And I have thought that many times, but that's kind of the point of the guide. It's literally stop. It's literally one less thing. You know what you have in your closet. You know what's appropriate to wear. Just have these 3 outfits ready to go. If you want to mix it up more often, great.
Yeah.
But at its very core, it's literally just trying to pull this out of your brain. And at its best, it's equipping you to tell planners this is what I have so they can just make the decision for you. Or I'm not trying to add to anyone's plate here. It's literally just a reference material. And I'm glad you said that about the pictures because for a bit there I was I don't shy away from work. But I was it's going to be so much work to get so many pictures from so many people. And so many people came through and helped. It was great.
I think it's great. Yeah,
it was
I think
so
it's
fun.
great. As someone who's not fashion oriented, the visuals are necessary for me.
It's really helpful.
For people listening to this who love it, how do they find this? What do they do?
It's on my website. Yeah.
On your website?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'll do a link.
Great.
Down below to your website.
That'd be so great.
Great. Should we mention?
It's free.
It's free right now.
Until June 1st.
Okay.
I don't know when this is
going to be. So people listening to this now, hurry up.
It's no longer free. It's, I could
get your booty to the website.
Honestly, and that's just for website fee maintenance. I'm not trying to make anything from, I probably shouldn't say that. My dad's gonna be mad. I'm trying to make a lot of money from this guide, you guys.
This is the retirement plan.
I think ultimately what I would love for it to, transparently lead to is to help people in-house with those more niche designs. Cause I do love styling people and I get a lot of joy from it. So yeah.
Amazing.
Great.
If someone hears this and it jumps out to them I need to connect with Devin more about this, or I need Devin's help with this or that, what's the best way for them to reach out to you?
My social security number is my address, my home address is just call, text, email, whatever. Done. It's all on my Instagram bio. But I do take a text any time of the day or night, which is really, I get that that's no work boundaries. But then randomly, I'll be on a Tuesday, I'm I think we'll start at 11 today. But yeah, probably the most dependable inlet is either email or call.
Love it. Easy. Devin, that's it.
Thanks for
You feel good about it?
Thank you.
Do you feel good about it?
I feel great.
Okay, great.
So much fun.
I do too. Good. This
you
was
are
easy.
by far one of the easiest people to talk to in the whole world. I could make a very short list of who I would want to drive down to Waco for, and this was very pleasant.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Devin. No one else I'd rather have as the first person here in Waco for it.
I say if you don't like this music, you don't be listening to it. I'm just a dude that or something similar. If you don't keep it real, then you go somewhere but here. Cause we're only losing control just for a minute.
Thank you, Devin, coming on the podcast. Thank you for even coming all the way down to Waco. To get the guide, which again, it's free only until June 1st, or to connect with Devin, I've got links attached in the show notes. Jump on in. But thank you again for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review. Take a minute. It would help the next person who should be listening to this podcast find the podcast. And as always, tune in next week for the next episode of the Texas Wedding Podcast.